So what we allow is that um, what we want to be able to do is provide everyone an opportunity to do research, democratizing the research process. So we're priced, I would say, much more affordably in this market.
Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to be with Yash from Rise Global Education. Yash, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Scott.
Yeah, I'm so excited. This is a really cool program you have, but describe if you can like give us a 30-second description. Tell us what the program is, and then I kind of want to get into it a little bit.
Sure. So Rise is basically we run a 10-week program where we help high school students write and publish research papers by pairing them up with PhD mentors who can provide them relevant guidance in their field of interest to write independent research papers that we then help publish in high school level journals or sometimes even collegiate level journals.
This is amazing. Having been a high school principal myself and worked with students who were interested in this field, and certainly working with folks as they're looking at university, this is something that is is in demand. But like every super program, like it's like a superhero, it has an origin story. So Josh, tell us a little bit about the origin story of this program.
Sure. So I guess we started now around 2.5 years ago. So this program was born out of a kind of place where I had a lot of friends who were doing their PhDs, and I had a lot of people, family friends who I knew who also wanted to do research. I was such an important part, such an important component to kind of get forward. Not only research, but they just wanted mentorship from slightly older people. So I started connecting these mentors with these students, and then after a point, I realized that, hey, I can actually do this properly. So I was working at Facebook at the time as a software engineer, so that's my personal background. And I realized that, this has some potential. So we spoke to a few people who then also suggested that it's something that we should pick up and take more seriously. So then I left my job at Facebook and then started Rise since then. Yeah.
That's amazing. And like, all good stories, it comes out of a personal need, a personal link, then develops. And of course, you had the background working at Facebook to be able to put together a platform and a program that was going to fit. Why were when you talk about those family friends and others, and now students that are coming to you to do this research, why would a high school student want to do this level of research? Why would they want to
Yeah.
do research and get published? Like, why?
Yeah. So I think it's a factor of two, three things. Firstly, um, most, I would say 75% of our students do this research over the summer. It's a time when they have a lot of free time and they want to utilize that time, which I think is a very good idea, and make sure that it doesn't go to waste. Our program is online, virtual. It's just very easy to do. So a lot of students manage to fit it into their calendar. I think why students choose to do research more specifically is that research provides two things. One is that it provides you a very good um, platform to learn more about the subject that you want to eventually major in. So normally, if I am just studying computer science, for example, in school, I will not know much until I actually delve deeper into the topic. And that is actually what I will most likely be doing at university as well if I study the subject seriously. In addition to that, it also, I guess, is a stepping stone for doing so many other things. So if you want to do science fairs, having a research paper is very beneficial because it provides you a kind of good start so that you know what kind of exists in order to do science fair. You can do a second research paper on your own as well. So having the first mentored research paper is very useful. And then I think third, it's also very beneficial to university applications. So most of the students that go to Ivy League institutions now do have research as a component on their application. And the reason behind this is that research is just, there's so many students who are good. Everyone has pretty much the exact same credentials. There has to be some differentiator, and the way that differentiator arises is that if you're able to show that you did some independent work um, that actually had an impact. So if you can show that you worked in a research area, you did something for an extended period of time outside of your normal course load, that looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Like if you think about it, if you're at a good school, what distinguishes you from all of the other students at your school? And think about all the then that's exponentially true. There's a lot of really good schools. And there's a lot of really good applicants. So there has to be some kind of differentiation. And colleges have repeatedly said that test scores are not differentiators. They're not an indicator of whether somebody will persist and do well at university. But research is one of
Yeah.
those differentiators. It is something that schools have said distinguishes a student
Mhm.
from their peers if you've gone through that discipline. For me, one of the coolest things about it is I think students persist because they know what they want to do, and a lot of people think they know what they want to do, but until you actually do some research in your field, you don't really know what you don't know. And the opportunity to do research before you even make a decision about what program to take and what university to go to, this is such a brilliant way to kind of jump ahead of the. It's almost like jumping ahead of the heart, the horse and the cart, and just jumping way out in front. And I think it's really a cool way to do it. Walk us through a little bit, if you would, Yash. If I'm at home, I'm a student or I'm a school leader, and I want to talk to my students about this program. Tell me a little bit about what this looks like. It's a 10-week program, like you said, usually done over the summer. Um, I think a far much better way to spend your summer hours than doing test prep or something ridiculous. Like I think this is a much better use of the time. But tell us what that really looks like, kind of if you can.
Sure. So I think when a student signs up with us, they will be paired up with a PhD mentor who has the same area of interest as them. So Scott, I think I gave you an example last time of a student who wants to do aerospace engineering, right?
Yeah,
So if a student wants to do aerospace engineering, they will be paired up with a mentor who is also in the aerospace engineering field. At this stage, Rise has almost 500 plus network like 500 plus mentors in our network. So we're able to do a very good job at pairing students up with excellent mentors who can really guide the students well on how to do their research. So the first 2 weeks is basically where the student is sitting down with a mentor, trying to identify a research question. So it's very tough for a student to come to us with an exact research question. At the end of the day, they're high school students, right? So they come to us with a topic in mind, something they're interested in, and then the mentors help the students in the first 2 weeks do a literature review, explore surrounding papers, and see where the student's research could fill a certain kind of gap or void that exists, right? So after the research question is decided, then we move on to data collection. So I would say weeks 2 to 4 are data collection. Then week 6 to probably 7 or 8 is data analysis and really trying to draw some conclusions to support the hypothesis that we would have made at the start. So that is again something that happens in the later weeks, and then the final 2 weeks is mainly just writing the paper well, polishing it off, and then submitting to journal publications.
yeah.
Yeah,
You make it sound so easy, and it's one of those things that if you're independently trying to do this, it's really impossible. Like I
right.
mean, I suppose theoretically it's possible, but this certainly takes a lot of the guesswork and uncertainty out of the process. Just the opportunity to spend some time with that PhD mentor, I think, is also a huge advantage that certainly I would want my students to be able to take advantage of. Deciding whether or not to do this program for a student, if they're thinking about, hey, is this something that I would want to do? What's kind of your ideal candidate? Who do you think would be the prime candidates to do research like this? Pardon the interruption. Thanks for listening to this episode of Global Student Voices. We're glad you're here. We try really hard to provide good content for international school leaders, parents, and students. But to know what you want to hear, we need to hear from you. So please reach out and let us know what you'd like to hear next. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, so I think firstly, candidates who are academically strong. So I think that is a prerequisite in order to do research. If you don't have your academics in place, I don't think you'd be doing justice to your mentor or justice to the program or yourself even by trying to jump ahead of the cart and just go and do research when you don't have your test scores in place. I think research is something that should be done when everything else is kind of in place and you want to push your profile onto the next level. So we can help out in that sense. Also, I would say don't bite more than you can chew. A lot of students will have a lot of things lined up in the summer. This program will probably take, I would say, 2 hours. There'll be 2 hours of instructive sessions per week. In addition to that, there's probably 4 or 5 hours of independent work required. So you're looking at 7 hours per week. So if your summer is already packed, it's probably not the best uh, idea to do this. Also, I would say students who are too young, like eighth grade, if again, it's a point of academic maturity, right? So even if you could be in eighth grade and you could still be extremely academically mature, so then you would be a good fit for us. But I think you need to achieve that academic maturity in order to do research. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true. I certainly wouldn't recommend it to. There are a few eighth graders that I've come across in my time that might be candidates. For the most part, this is a really kind of a 10th, 11th grade summer
Yeah,
program for the
I would
most
say
part.
I would say 9, 10th.
Okay.
The thing is, in 11th grade, although the students are very mature, they're too busy.
Uh,
So 10th grade is probably the smartest time to do it. Ninth grade, I would say, is even better actually, because you get
okay.
like more time to even use the research to do more things. So I can do science fairs, I can do a
Interesting.
lot more
Okay.
interesting things if I get this experience earlier on. Yeah.
Very good. Well, that's helpful. That's a helpful distinction. So ninth grade for the high achievers that are already maybe getting a little bit bored even with their academic stuff,
Yeah.
but have some clear path, um,
Yeah.
and then being able to use it. Oh, that's really helpful. There are some other programs out in the world where you can do research,
Hmm.
um, and I know we talked a little bit about kind of your desire to do something a little bit different. Um, what's the distinctive with the Rise Global Education with the Rise program?
Yeah, so I think at Rise Research, we do a couple of things differently. So I think there's a lot of other programs that exist that do this kind of connection with PhD mentors. I think what we do different is that we just do a much better job at keeping the student experience very positive. So there's three people that the student will be mapped to in our program. One is the mentor that we spoke about. Then there's a writing coach, and there's a student success manager as well. So the writing coach's role is that they help break down the mentor's tasks for the student and really handhold the students in order to complete the tasks. What this means is that you will not, in most cases, mentors will be overqualified to teach the students.
Hmm.
They'll be giving extremely difficult tasks that a student is just going to get stuck on and get scared and not make any progress. The writing coach's role is to break those tasks down and really help the student complete those tasks for the next class. Then, in addition to that, we also have a student success manager. So, a student success manager at RISE doesn't handle more than 40 students themselves. So, what that means is that every week they're able to meet with the students for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and have a chat as to what should be done about like what steps they can make to make the program better for them, whether they're on track, so on and so forth. And in the program, we see most student success managers have like longer lasting relationships with their students. So even after the program ends, after the 10 weeks end, the student success manager is almost like a friend for the student. So that's
Yeah.
something we're very proud of. Yeah. So I think that is one thing, which is just the student support. Then I think in addition to that, I would say publication support. So we have a very kind of good rate of publication. So I would say probably somewhere around 80% of our
Wow.
students manage to publish, and the reason for that is that if a student does get rejected, we're happy to work with the student, provided that they want to put in the effort, work with the student in order to reapply to journals till they manage to get accepted. Similarly, for science fairs, poster competitions, we're very kind of open to take students, open to help our clients who might have finished, let's say, 2, 3 months ago, and they still want to, they come back to us and they're like, hey, can you just help us out for this? We do it free of cost. So all of these things we're happy to cover. I think the last thing which we were mindful of when we started Rise was that we want to be a bridge between like m- so I would say the pinnacle of high school research would be that you work with a professor in a lab, and you work for like a year or 2 years, and then that would be the best kind of scenario. I would say probably in the US there's only maybe few hundred students
Mhm.
that manage to do that. That might be an exaggeration as well, right? Very, very few students manage to do that sort of extended long-term research with a professor because professors just don't have time
Yeah,
or the resources to take in students. So what we allow is that um, what we want to be able to do is provide everyone an opportunity to do research, democratizing the research process. So we're priced, I would say, much more affordably in this market. So we're priced at $2,500, where a lot of other programs for publication and comparable programs would be six, $7,000.
yeah, for
So
sure.
I think that is another point. So I think those are some differentiators. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really good differentiators, and I think one of the reasons that I'm excited about what you do is they're very much in keeping of what we try to do at Global Student Solutions. If you have enough money, you can do lots of amazing things. But a lot of times, if you don't have just buckets full of gold, your opportunities can be limited, and this really opens the door to a lot more. It doesn't necessarily open up to everyone, but it does open it up to a lot more people. And I love your term democratization of research. I think is really good because it does create, and I think it's good for all of education. Like I think it's really good that there'll now be more research into areas that people are genuinely interested in. These are like you said, ninth, 10th grade students who will be looking into areas that they're really interested in, doing research that's filling a gap. So research that hasn't been done before, and that's kind of the sweet spot for getting published. So this is really great. I'm excited for the opportunity. I'm excited to share this opportunity with as many students as I can. If a student is hearing this or a mentor is hearing this and saying, hey, this is something that one of my students, they should really do this
Yeah.
fairly quickly, give us the process. What do they need to gather beforehand? And then I assume they go to your website. We'll put the links in the description of wherever you're hearing this podcast. We'll put the links to the podcast to the website. But do they need to gather some things together? Or does that happen in the application process?
Yeah, so they would be required to do like get some materials together, but that will be in the application process, as you said.
Okay,
The first step that someone would have to do, so first I'll talk for a student. So a student would come to our website and register themselves for a parent discovery call. So I think at a high school level, students are not the ones making the decisions. I
for
think
sure.
parents are the ones making the decisions. So we like to have a chat with all the parents before they sign up, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. So someone on the team will take a call with the parents to explain what the program is, answer any questions that might not have been answered through our brochure. So I think our website is also a great source of truth for people who are interested about the program, and it allows for there's a lot of information there that someone can read if they're interested. If they want to continue or they have questions, they can book a parent discovery call. After the parent discovery call, if students are interested, typically what we do is we send an application form over. That application form has a lot of questions about why you're looking to do research, what subjects you're looking to do research in, what is your previous experience, what are your test scores. So all of that is material that you would have to gather in order to write that application form. After you submit the application form, if it's a good application, then it will get shortlisted for an interview. And in the interview, we try and mainly assess two or three things. One is the academic maturity aspect that I talked about.
Sure.
And secondly, it's are you just going to be a good fit for our program? I would say in terms of soft things as well, right? Like soft touches. Like, are you going to show up on time? Are you going to um, treat the mentors with respect? Are you going to, is it just going to be a fun environment for us to work with you and for you to work with us as well? And are you just taking on more than you can actually manage to do, right? So I think that is, again, something that we're looking for in the interview. If we think the student is a good fit for the program, we send them over an acceptance letter. So that acceptance letter will have details about all the next steps, including the payment. So once a student does that, then they kind of enroll in the program. One more thing about the program, I think, which is important to say, is that it's flexible. So we are flexible with the start date. So although we have this cohort system that's mainly for us to kind of plan our volume, that's not really a strict start date. So if students want to start, let's say after making the payment, if they want to start in 2 weeks or in 2 months, they can start whenever, right? Once they start, we like to get the process wrapped up in 10 weeks because otherwise, if we drag it on for too long,
It
it
doesn't get
stops
done.
being fun for the student and the mentor as well.
for sure. Wonderful, and makes it a really wonderful fit for our folks that are at international schools that are on a little bit different school plan. You don't have to fit into the American summer break program that a lot of other research programs are set up for. So
Mhm.
this that flexibility is really helpful. Well, this has been a delight, Yash. I hope that you get just a ton of applicants and you get overwhelmed with the volume for students and families. Definitely encourage you to check out the website, follow the link. Like you said, the website's really good, so it has most of your questions will be answered in that process, but then booking that individual client, that's not only very helpful but also really responsible. So appreciate the way, not only what you do but the way you guys do it. I think people are going to be really impressed by it. So that's it for me. Thank you. I think this has been a really helpful episode on the Global Student Voices. A special thanks to Yash and to Rise Research. Definitely go and check it out.
Thanks so much, Scott. Thanks for having us. Yes.
I'm so grateful you stayed till the end. This was a great episode, and I hope it was really helpful to you. Again, we'd love to hear your feedback, but we also wanted to make you aware of some of the other ways that you can connect with Global Student Solutions. Global Student Voices is a service of Global Student Solutions. We also provide books and resources like you see behind me, as well as a variety of other services, educational content, and consulting. So we would love to connect with you. And at the very least, if you can follow us and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We also have a membership program coming up, and we'd like you to be the first member. So let us know, get your name on the list, and we'll make sure that you're the first to join the membership community. Thank you, and have a great day.